Thank you, Cathaoirleach. And firstly, I suppose I want to warmly welcome the people in both galleries in this house, because this is about you, and it's about your families, and it's about your past, and it's about your life, and it's about your circumstances. And we all need and require our identity. It's very important to us. I think I told this house before that I am one of 7 children originally from that lovely part of Grangecarn in County Wicklow and the borders of Athy in County Kildare. And while through no circumstance of either of my parents, we were all brought up in care. I grew up not knowing I had, until certainly 5, 6 and 7, till I even had brothers and sisters. But with the will of my own parents, who sought to bring their children up as they thought best, they resisted any stress, any pressure to allow us to be adopted. Indeed, my name was Kenneth Boyhan. Was another fellow in there, Kenneth, and they called me Victor. And I think I'm glad, because I sort of feel I've stepped into the word Victor, and I wouldn't want anyone to take it away from me now, but I'm just telling you how strange it is about your identity. And when I came in here and was going for a diplomatic passport, I had contact from the embassy who said, sorry, that's not the name that we have. And that was a simple little thing. So our identity is really, really important to us, and I think that's really important. I can't say I had a sad life or I had a bad life, but the one thing I can say is that through efforts, not by social services, not by the state, but by others, we maintained contact. There's not a week that I wouldn't speak to all 7 of them. Not a week. And so history, origin, heritage and identity are really, really important to us. But it takes strong parents or guardians to fight sometimes to retain contact with their children. And I think the lesson of all of that is that it actually works. So to you that are here today, and all the other people that are listening in here, I'm not going to say, respond to the apology, because it's not my place. It's not my experience. And therefore it wouldn't be right for me to respond other than to thank the Minister for bringing the apology for the House. It'll need time. It'll need to sink in. The people who have heard this today will have heard it for the first time. Indeed, I want to reassure the people outside of this House, and I don't think any other member of this House would have been aware of the content of that apology till the Minister put it on the record here today, while we were aware today it was happening. And that's important, because language and timing and everything is so important when we're talking about ourselves. So I don't want to spend much more time on that, but to thank the people over the years that went on that journey with us, that shared their experiences, that had to put into the public domain things that they didn't really want to do, to have to tell people about their circumstances. Many of us blend into community, and people don't really know that much about any of us when you really think about it, but somehow all of this has been painful. But I want to say that, Minister, identity is important. The legality of actions of others is important too. And I think to suggest here, or to take away in anything, that the St. Patrick's Guild was the only institution involved in illegal registration of births would be foolish and wrong. There were many adopted arrangements within families, interfamilies. There were many different traditions in this country and religious organisations that were involved. Indeed, I grew up with many people that were adopted and still don't know anything about their past and cannot get anything about their papers or anything. So it would be foolish to single out one institution in this state and suggest that was solely and wholly the only institution that did it. So there were issues there. But I want to thank you, Minister, for engaging with the Oireachtas members, and I want to particularly thank the committee for all the work that they did in that. So the access of a range of information is critically important to us, and I think that's important in the bill. Early life information, and you touched on that here today. You know, early life information is broadly defined in this bill as the place where the person resided, the dates of that residency, where applicable information relates to his or her baptism or any other ceremony or religious or spiritual nature, information on medical treatments, procedures and vaccinations administered, information on whether a parent or genetic relative of a person visited or inquired as to the person. And that's quite profound, because I know of so many cases where birth parents arrived to institutions that were run, managed and overseen by this state and were denied access to their children. They were told that they were actually adopted, that they better not stand in the way of a better life. and a better opportunity for their children. And they walked away thinking that was actually going to happen. So there was a lot of issues in relation to that. But I think it's important that we're moving forward. The Adoption Authority in Ireland and TUSLA, and again, you covered that in it, and you say, shall relevant bodies, including the Adoption Authority of Ireland and TUSLA, shall, to the extent that is practically to do. Now, I'm not sure, Minister, I may have a bit of an issue with that in terms of a further amendment. Provide early life information to relevant persons of age 18 and over. I think the tracing service is important. I believe, Minister, you've been honourable in your dealings here. You've been fiercely committed. You've been a wonderful advocate. You've had to learn yourself. You've had to go on this journey yourself in the last 2 years, and you've come a long way. And I don't think, and I don't doubt, should I say, your absolute commitment to get this right. On the face of it, subject to a few possible amendments, I'm going to support this because I believe it's the right thing to do. And I look back, and I'm 61 years of age this week, and I look back, and as I came in here today, I said, did I ever think that one day I'd be somewhere like here talking about tracing and legislation? I think it's the right thing to do. We owe it to people. It will be difficult. There will be many bridges to cross. There will be many people hurt and disappointed. In some cases, they won't be that surprised because many of this has been wrapped around in denial. But it is a real journey, and this is a really, really important piece of legislation in terms of identity. I close by again saying I want to thank the people that have shared their personal stories, the hundreds that have gone on prime time. I recognise one lady here, really from her television appearance more than anything else, and I said hello to her. But they were brave, courageous people, and they had to go out and they had to tell their partners. Some of these people were married for years and never talked about their secrets, as they call them. So I support the bill, Minister. I think it's the right thing to do. And yes, I acknowledge the importance of your apology, but I don't think it's for any of us to say or accept that apology. It's for the individuals, and I think that's going to take time. Thank you.